The HBO show The Symbol's decision has shown up, and it kept up with its status as the most shocking project of the late spring the entire way through. In episode 4 of the series created by Sam Levinson, the pop queen gave her backup dancer and fictitious friend Diane permission to use Jocelyn's song World Class Sinner as her own, which made things look bad for Jocelyn. As though having her thoroughly examined rebound destroyed wasn't adequately terrible, she additionally figures out that Diane and Ted Rose recently knew one another and were sincerely involved before Jocelyn and Ted Rose at any point met. Jocelyn reaches her ex, Ransack, to approach her home encounter, and Lute is effective in making Ted Rose desirous. When Ted Rose asks Sander to take a provocative picture of Rob and a woman wearing small clothes, Jocelyn's plan goes awry. We are restless to perceive how the 5th episode of the show wraps up as Ted Rose Group, or would it be a good idea for us, we say, faction, keeps on possessing Jocelyn's home as his relationship with her collapses, all while being firmly watched by Fate, Jocelyn's supervisor. Keep watching to find out how the chaos brought on by the idol finale, Jocelyn Forever, was broken down in its entirety. Ted Rose was kicked out by Jocelyn. Jocelyn calls Ted Rose out as the swindler and the misrepresentation that he is toward the start of the episode as she wraps up her next melody to present to her group. At the point when Ted Rose's melody brings up certain issues, Jocelyn quiets him by reporting, "I'm finished with you," describing his entire relationship with Diane. Jocelyn explains how their first meeting actually went. Chloe adds that Ted Rose has been imagining seeing Jocelyn for eternity. She asks Ted Rose to leave her house and for his artistic team to stay. Ted Rose assumed responsibility for the gathering with Jocelyn. Everyone is on board when Andrew Finkelstein calls a meeting with Jocelyn for precisely 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Jocelyn walks toward the Ted Rose crew that is living at her home and informs them that she will showcase their abilities to her team and the record label as she offers Ramsey, Chloe, and Azak to begin her tour. Ted Rose is told to lead the gathering, yet rather he assumes responsibility as the gathering invites the chiefs of the record mark and an exhibit gets on without Jocelyn. Xander proposed that Jocelyn was answerable for catching Rob. Leia is currently dealing with the consequences of Ted Rose setting up Rob during the showcase. It turns out that Rob has been accused of sexual assault because Xander forced Rob to take a picture with the woman who was barely dressed. Amidst the disarray, Leia can't chat with Jocelyn. However, Xander makes it clear to her that she knew about the allegations and may have even set him up. Nikki tried to make a deal with Ted Rose. While the chiefs of the record name commend the expertise showed by Ramsey, Chloe, and Izak, Nikki tries to work out an agreement with Ted Rose for finding such unprecedented potential. Despite his designation of her as a CT, Nikki tells Ted Rose, "You're splendid," while Predetermination and Cham snicker at their trade. Jocelyn told Cham to make Ted Rose a deal he couldn't refuse in order to get him out of her life. After attempting to persuade Ted Rose to leave her home and life, including threatening to contact the police, Jocelyn gives Cham instructions to give him the money he needs to do so. After a highly entertaining performance of Little Red Riding Hood, security forces Ted Rose and Cham into a vehicle. At that point, Cham offers Ted Rose $500,000 in exchange for his assurance that he will leave Jocelyn alone.